You know what happened for the first time, and I can't remember how, ever, is I heard an interview that SiriusXM had with Bronny James. Here's LeBron James Jr., Bronny James, on what it's like to be, well, him.
What was the decision-making process like for you to turn pro? Because it seems like it has just recently come down where you decided to stay in the draft. Here you are here at the Combine in Chicago. What was that whole process like, and maybe take us through your decision-making?
I always want to end up where I'm happy the most. Mm-hmm. Mom has always told me, take me where my heart wants me to be. And, I just found happiness in what I'm doing right now, and I feel like that's where I want myself to be at.
What is it like to play the game of basketball when your father is one of the all-time greats of the sport?
It's tough. A lot of criticism gets thrown my way. But, I got to deal with it. They don't know what I've been through. But, yeah, I just try to make the best of my opportunities that's given to me.
That's fair. Look, I have always looked at it from a lens, I think, of not positivity and negativity, of just being honest, right? And the good thing, by the way, now of him declaring that he's staying in the NBA draft is I can continue to comment. Like if he's a college player, it makes it a little trickier being a head college coach. But now that he's going to be a pro, I don't. I think it's a mistake. Now, it doesn't mean you can't develop in the G League, but the way to truly stick and develop to get the best basketball, like Drew Joyce played growing up with LeBron James. They are lifelong friends. Why wouldn't you just go play for him for a year where you can play 30 minutes, make mistakes, explore your game? But I also think that, and I'm sure there'll be people that take shots at him for saying you don't know what I've been through, but we don't. Do you want to know what it's like to be the guy who's, every time your dad walks in, there is just this massive, not just physical, but figurative shadow. Look, I'd like him to make it. I mean, he's going to make it, but I'd like him to earn it and make it. It wouldn't be the first time that there's a favor on an NBA roster. We've seen that in Milwaukee for years. And I can't imagine what it's like to be the son of LeBron. But I just think in terms of individual decisions, the best one would have been to go play for Duquesne, go, get a ton of reps, succeed some, fail some, succeed mostly again. And instead now, it's going to be probably G League and then hoping for the occasional call-up to be with your dad. Can he develop? Yeah, people develop. The likelihood is going to be hard.
There's an interesting back and forth there. LeBron James and J.J. Redick talking on his podcast, and he was talking about Caitlin Clark. I mean, the truth is that this cut was about Caitlin Clark, and LeBron saying, hey, look, I've been through what Caitlin, and he actually said something that, Jay Stu, you've been saying, which I agree with, which is, so many of these women in the WNBA seem very bothered by Caitlin Clark, but the shine that she's going to bring, the attention she's going to bring, is dollars, which is going to make them all dollars. And I do think that LeBron's business sense understands. But take a listen to what LeBron James said.
The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go have fun, enjoy, but I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing. I hope they do great. I'm just kind of in this mode right now because I'm getting the same, thing from watching my son, who's a 19-year-old, kind of getting a lot of animosity and hatred towards him when he's just a kid trying to live out his dream. There's a very small number of men and women that actually get to live out their dream of playing a professional sport. And we have grown ass men and women out here doing whatever they can to try to make sure that does not happen. That is the weirdest thing in the world.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. So let's do that. Okay, let's unpack. Matter of fact, watch this. This is my own. This is, and let's unpack. Do you like that, Sam? I provide my own sound effects.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So the first part, LeBron is dead on accurate, which is that she has brought more attention to the women's game than anyone previously. Probably 4x, right? 4x of what anyone has ever. And there have been great players. Aaliyah Boston, one of them. But the fact is that mainstream America just didn't care, doesn't care. Still, really, if you look at the numbers, they're low. But when Caitlin plays, they're outstanding. So that part, he's like, look, why is anybody taking shots at her who plays in the league when she is going to make all of you lots of money? Brilliant. But then he says there are grown men who are trying to stop Bronny James from accomplishing his dream. Who? I would love to know who he's talking about. Because, and I saw today where now Bronny is ranked the 56th best prospect, which is not accurate. It's just not. I mean, I am now a Division I head coach. He is not a recruitable athlete, so I can, in fact, comment on him and tell you that I don't believe he would be my best player. Right now with my roster, I don't. I think he'd be a good player. I'd like to have him. And part of my desire for him to go to college is I think his best basketball is still ahead of him. I would agree with LeBron if that's what he said. But who are the people who are trying to stop him from accomplishing his dream? Who would that be? Because I don't think anybody's trying to stop him. I'm simply trying to tell him what the reasonable expectations are and who he is as a player. Right? Would anyone draft Bronny James if he wasn't Bronny James? No. Will the Lakers draft Bronny James? Probably. They may not have to, but probably. I'm not even somebody that says like there's something nefarious at play here. This happens. Giannis has two brothers have been in the NBA, and neither could play dead to cowboy movie. I just think that you want to talk about your dream. Like, look, the way to get there, by my estimation, is go do the work. You got to get some live reps, and he's obviously going to get them in the G League. But, dude, this victim mentality, and it's interesting the flip that LeBron makes, where he's comparing Caitlin Clark, who scored more points than anybody in the history of women's basketball, who went to 2 straight NCAA championship games, who's the National Player of the Year, who's an iconic. He's comparing his son's plight to that of Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and others. I've always been understanding of this because, his analysis of his son is blinded by love. I get it. I got a son. I love him more than the moon, the stars, the sun, everything in my life. I completely get that. But who are these imaginary people who are trying to keep your son from accomplishing his dream? Nobody.